The purpose of this video is to do a walkthrough of the Google Drive structure and the documents that you'll be interacting with this year. So to start off, every coach has their own folder with your coach name on it. Inside your folder, you'll find three things. First is a folder with your first school name. You'll also have a folder with your second school name if you've been paired with two TLs. And then you'll have your own coach hub. Inside every school folder, you'll see a school impact hub and then a documents folder. The school impact hub has background information and goals for your TL. It also will have the project plan for the TL, and then it will have you and your TL's coaching notes, as well as links to additional resources. Inside the documents folder will be project documents, as well as throughout the year, it'll be filled up with different project documents that your TL wants to put there. Every school folder contains the same thing. You'll then see your own coach hub, inside of which you'll have your coach leadership plan, our coaching notes together, and then in addition, links to additional resources. So let's check out what an example coaching folder would look like. So here you'll see example coaching folder. Your folder will have your name on it. You'll click into it, and again, inside you'll see school 1, school 2, and then your own coach hub. We'll first click into your coach hub. And the first tab will tell you all the other tabs that you can find inside of it. And in the first tab, you'll also see links to additional resources. So you see example leadership plan, calendar, resource bank, project cycle summary, leadership rubric and survey questions, and then exemplar school hub. So clicking into the first tab, you have your coach leadership plan, which you should have already set. So this is just going to be your goals for the year throughout your coaching with TST. The next tab is the TST check-in notes. And you'll note that these look incredibly similar. They actually mirror the check-in notes that you and your TL will be doing together. And that is purposeful because it's always best practice to first check in on team culture and how everyone is doing, and then check in on project updates. So in every single one of our coaching meetings, we'll talk about how you are and how your TL is, and then we'll talk about where your TL is in the project cycle. So we'll actually go right into your TL's project plan and then update that as needed. At the very end of the meeting, we will talk through next steps and then anything else that maybe is on your mind. Here you see a locked tab, and this is the example leadership plan. Again, as you're setting your leadership goals, helpful to kind of check that out. And then you'll also see another locked tab that's the project cycle. So this is simply a graphic of the project cycle, which you saw in the project cycle video. And again, it's just here for your reference in case you want a quick refresher on each part of the project cycle. Clicking back to the first tab, which is the hub, tells you where to go for everything. Again, want to definitely encourage you to click through the additional resources. So we just talked about the leadership plan. There's also a link, like I said, to the calendar. That's your calendar for the year for reference. In addition, you'll see a link to the resource bank. So the resource bank is where we have tons of resources for both you and your TL to use throughout your year together. The project summary is one of the tabs that we talked about. And then you also will see leadership rubric and survey questions. So again, you use those when you set your leadership goals, but really helpful to go back just in terms of tracking your own growth to see where you're at with different indicators in the leadership rubric. And then the survey questions are exactly what your TLs will be answering about you at the mid-year and end of your survey. So helpful to see what you'll be measured on so you can work to impact those indicators. You'll also see an exemplar school hub, and again, that's just for reference to see how something completely filled out might look. Going back to your folder, again, we just looked at your school hub. So next we'll take a quick look at what an example school would look like. So it wouldn't obviously say school 1, it would say the name of the school that your TL is at. You'd click into it and you'll see the school impact hub, and you'll also see a documents folder. The school impact hub, which we're clicking into now, again, mirrors your coach hub. So you have, in the first tab, all of the tabs as well as links to additional resources in the document. In the second tab, you see background info and goals. So this part is filled out by your TL. It will give you more information about your teacher liaison. So who are they? What are their leadership goals? You'll be checking in with them twice a year on their own leadership goals to talk about progress and next steps. The next column is the impact team. So this will tell you all about the impact team, how it was formed, why it exists. You'll see your TL's year-long goal, CIWP connection, if there is one, team norms, their impact team meeting schedule, and then all the impact team members. You'll also see a link to your TL school website, as well as a link to their CPS info page, which just gives you a little bit more information about the school context. The next tab, which is where you'll be working in a whole lot with your TL, is the project plan. So this, during fall training, you and your TL will brainstorm projects that can be completed to accomplish the year-long goal. In addition, your TL will work with their impact team to brainstorm as well. We ask that at least 3 projects are completed, but your TL obviously has the option of completing more. So you see optional projects 4 and 5 at the very bottom. As your TL moves through each project, they'll put their project name, the goal for that project, the timeline, and pretty much everyone's projects start the 1st of October because September is when we use to really form the team and create the plan. You'll see project stage update, so you'll update this with your TL at each coaching meeting. So for instance, right now we might be in planning, maybe we're in execution, maybe we're in reflection, and that's to ensure that you're moving swiftly through each project cycle. Your TL will insert the completion date of the project and then the outcomes. So what were the outcomes of this project? And we are asking to make it quantifiable when possible. There's also a place for additional links here. So if your TL wants to link their project documents, they can feel more than able to do so. It just really depends on how they want to keep themselves organized. Next, you'll see coaching notes. As I said, these mirror our coaching notes together. You'll see there are 2 sections per month, so September, October, etc., because you meet with your TL twice a month. You will insert the date of the meeting. Coffee talk, you can feel free to type in anything important as you're talking with your TL. Maybe their birthday is coming up and you want to remember that. So there are 2 parts to each of your check-ins, team culture and then strategic planning. For team culture, you'll ask, how is your TL? How is their team? Is there any steps that we need to do to ensure that team culture is strong? And then in the strategic planning part, you will click back into the project plan with your TL and work through updating that plan. Again, it is best practice to keep really good documentation as you're moving through a project. This is Project Management 101. You'll also troubleshoot and then plan for the future. There's a space for your TL's next steps. So with your TL, you'll review the monthly update, the TST by the month, the calendar, and talk about what needs to be accomplished before the next meeting. And there's also a place for your next steps. Maybe you've told your TL you would send them a specific resource, in which case this is the place where you can document that. At the very end, you have open space to check in as needed. Similar to your own hub, you have the project cycle summary, which again is just a refresher of the project cycle as needed. So clicking all the way back again, this is your example coach folder and what you will find inside of each. Again, we'll be using these documents heavily this year, so it's super important that you familiarize yourself with them so you can also help guide your TL through each of these documents. Again, through the TL completing their year-long goal and through them really focusing on team culture throughout, we hope to ensure better outcomes for more students in each of the schools that our TLs serve.